My name is Jen, and I am on a journey in order to break free from the destructive patterns of disordered eating and in order to embrace a nourishing lifestyle. My roadmap can be described using an acronym of the word Nourisher. So I'm doing daily video blog posts in order to encourage you, equip you, and keep you up to date on my progress. If this content is helpful or encouraging to you, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing with others. It is my deep desire that these videos would help to ignite nourishing transformations in us all. Hey, thank you so much for joining me for my Nourisher Check In today, summer edition, checking in for 2 days and not one. And we are already into the 70s in terms of the number of days that we have been doing this together. Your involvement in journeying along with me has been so inspirational, and I hope that this journey has been nourishing for you as well. And today I need you. I need you to be a referee between me and my body. In the words of Judi Craddock, who I deeply appreciate and respect, and will put lots of her information in the additional resource area below, she is a body confidence coach, and she would describe the type of day or days that I have been having as being bad body days. Now, bad body days does not mean that there is anything bad or wrong with my actual body, but that there's a lot of negativity in terms of my relationship with my body and the way that I'm experiencing my body. And this has probably been something, it has been something that has happened my whole life. When I look at pictures of myself, I can look back and I can find a picture of like, oh yeah, I was happy. I look back and think, yeah, I like the way that I looked at that time. But I don't remember a time that I've ever looked in the mirror and said the same thing in real time. It's always looking back that I could decide that or say that. And this is something that I want to change desperately, because I do not want that type of body negativity or whatever has come as a result of our culture's obsession with thinness and with diets and with all sorts of body image, different misconceptions. I want to embrace my body and the bodies around me as being the God-given gifts that they are, and I want to be able to celebrate them. And I want desperately for my daughters to be able to celebrate them. And I feel like I can celebrate their bodies, but I know that I also need to be able to celebrate and embrace my own body in order to model that for them so that they can do the same for the beautiful bodies that they have been given. So there's a lot at stake and a lot on the line, and I want to learn how to do this. So Judi Craddock, this body confidence coach, she has some really great, she always has inspirational things on social media, but she also has some YouTube videos with really great instructional videos on how to start to repair the relationship between you and your body. So let me try to work that into the Nourisher Check-In today. So in terms of noticing my emotions, definitely noticing some heavier emotions. A couple of days ago when I checked in, it was this idea that everything is fine. So why do I feel so bad? And I've still been, kind of living in those dichotomies of really great summer fun, lots of great things happening, and yet this just deep sense of unrest and disconnection inside my soul. So that is definitely persisting. And in terms of opening up to others, haven't really, because of, the busyness of summer and caring for and enjoying the kids, haven't really had an opportunity to slow down and have many heart-to-hearts where I can reveal what's going on my inside to people in a healthy way on the outside. So definitely feeling some deficiencies there, but I'm grateful for the way that I have been able to enjoy and experience my girls during this time. So understanding the cycle, I really feel like it's like a ping pong ball match in terms of like pushing off the magnetic forces of that cycle. And I feel like the magnetic forces of the cycle are always tempting me either to, restrict, or, just give in and just eat all the food. And so I really think that, as I mentioned, I've had to just turn to the clock and just trust the clock rather than trusting my instincts, and make sure that I'm nourishing my body every 2.5 to 3 hours in order to stabilize my blood sugars, and in order to make sure that I'm not falling into those patterns of either restricting or binging. So that's going well. I feel like I'm not on the cycle, but man, I feel the pull strongly. And a lot of it comes from this idea of what I see when I look in the mirror, and how upsetting it can be for me to have a negative impression of my own body or experience of my own body, especially in the summer. I think, there's more bathing suits. And of course, we talked about the fact that the Olympics were just on. And so I think that this is all really lots of comparing. I live in a part of the world where people are stunningly beautiful, and it's difficult. When I go into a store, it's hard for me to find anything that is my size, and if I can, it's often in the extra large or extra large sizing. So it is, it just has been tricky to feel good in my skin these last few days. But some things that maybe in terms of rewiring my brain that Judi Craddock recommends that I have been trying have been really helpful. So the first thing that she recommends if you're having a bad body day is to do something that you love. So today I did that. I love, are you going to fill in the blank for me? I love to walk in nature. So I got out today with my girls and did two things that I loved. One was walk, and two was go out for lunch. I love being at a restaurant. I love everything about the restaurant experience. I just love it. Maybe it's because I don't have to do the dishes afterwards or don't have to prepare the meal, but I love to be, especially in a booth where I'm like sitting across from the people that I love and really engaging with them. I love that. So those are a couple of things that I love that I did participate in today, and that was definitely helpful to take my mind totally off my body and to engage in things that I really delight in, enjoy, and love. So the second thing that she recommends is to think about what's really behind the frustration with your body. So sometimes if you kind of look at the next layer down, it can be very helpful or illuminating. So for example, if I stop to think and talk to my body, I would say, okay, so what if you were thinner? What would be different, or what is it that you want, or what is it that you need or think that you don't have that you would be able to have if you did look XYZ way that you wish that you did. And you know what? I think without fail, when it comes to the body stuff, without fail, there's this idea of this yearning and this longing for belonging and for deep, rich relationship. And that I think that I bought into the lie that media has tried to sell me and all women, all people, I'm sure, for years and years, is that if you were more beautiful, people would love you more. People would want to be with you more. People would stick around more. So that, I think, as I actually take her advice and stop to look at that, I do see that whenever there's stress or strain in relationships or a relational gap, and of course I live in a very isolated location, so it's easy to get into these phases where feeling lonely or feeling disconnected and end up thinking, not even consciously, but if I stop to kind of mind for what's at the heart of it, think, oh, if I was more beautiful, then people would draw nearer to my heart. Because my heart is messy. My heart is messy and muddy and can get really gross. And so I think, oh, well, at least if my exterior was beautiful, people would maybe be willing to deal with some of the muckiness of what's inside. So lots of kind of gross, disordered thinking in there. So the third thing that she talks about is that you are more than a body. So think about what else are you lovable for other than your body, and that we are, culture has just played it up that, this infatuation or love at first sight, or people are magnetically attracted to each other because of the outside physical appearance. But what is it about you, about your character, that is actually lovable? And of course, this is everything from just the fact that you were made by God to be loved, those kind of basic core human rights kind of issues. You're lovable because you're a human being made beautifully, knit together, but also more things that are unique to you and your character. And then the last thing that she says is to make a list of empowering body beliefs. So, there are some things that I believe about my body that I can remind myself, and that can lead me, in my specific case, it can lead me towards being more appreciative about my body and being more kind and gentle to my body. So, for example, I believe that my body is very strong. My husband always laughs because whenever we're hauling furniture or those sorts of things, he'll say like, hey, can we move this, washing machine or this refrigerator or something? And I'll go and pick it up, and he'll just kind of look at me and he's like, you're okay? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, you're so strong. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the strength that is in my muscles and in my bones to be able to work hard and to be able to enjoy life because of the strong body that God has given me. And I also appreciate so much that my body takes me on so many adventures and is very active, that I can be active with my children and I can be active enjoying outside. And so, active and strong are two words that I can embrace and that I can then express appreciation back to God for, and can appreciate my body for as well. So those are just some recommendations from Judi Craddock, but she has so much more on her YouTube channel. I highly recommend that you check it out. She has other publications as well, and those have been really helpful things for me today. So insulin-friendly eating, again, just been eating by the clock, and that's been going well. I have been having horrible sleeps. The same thing just continues. Actually, the last couple of nights weren't as bad, but still up, between that 1 and 4 zone at some point. Maybe not for the whole time, which has been better. But I realized that kind of my one kind of, I always want to live eating abundantly and enjoying flavors and enjoying the people that I'm enjoying food with. And when I do that, I try, my kids have had cookie dough in the fridge where they've been making themselves fresh homemade cookies, which I love that they can do. And that's not for me specifically, with where I'm at, with how it responds to my body, not at all wanting to villainize those food groups, but that is not a healthy choice for me to be eating the cookies that they're eating. So I have been making, as you know, this, what is it? It's like a gluten-free, basically coconut-based chocolate zucchini cake, and smothering coconut cream on it. It's been delicious. But then I realized, hey, wait a second, it's full of caffeine. So that also could be wreaking havoc on my sleep. So need to just be careful of that. I got to find a new non-caffeinated treat. So I'll be thinking about that. Non-caffeinated, dairy doesn't work well for me. Gluten hurts my tummy. So I gotta get very creative. So yeah, hydration has been going well, and I'm really grateful because I really think that this increased hydration, as I mentioned, has been helping towards gut health and just helping me feel my best and be able to maintain an active lifestyle, which I really appreciate. And the exercise has been great. I'm still enjoying time being needing maybe some more time just on my own exercising, but that will come. This time with the kids off school is so short and so precious that I really want to embrace that. So the kids and I had a wonderful walk today, and I just laughed because my one daughter, often when we walk, I try to tell stories, and I try to tell what, in my journey group we call maturity stories or return to joy stories, which is basically telling a story about a time that you were proud of what you did in order to provide an example or celebrate together with the people who are listening. So often, or sometimes I'll just give them what we call a do-over story, which is, hey, I did this, but I wish I had have done this. And just to help them know that, hey, I'm human too, and we can do this together, so that they can feel really free to come to me when they're not so proud about how they responded. And we can together craft, hey, what do you wish you had have done? We have those conversations a lot. So I often do this. And so when we start walking, we're like, super close to the house. My one daughter says, okay, mommy, can you please tell us stories about when you were a kid? Like you can tell us stories about when you stole stuff or you did bad things. And so anyway, those times are just so delightful just to be able to share and talk and play Name That Tune or whatever crazy things we do on our walk. So those are really good. And, my reward today is this remembering, when I look into the eyes of my daughter, that this journey is not just for me. This journey is about generations and about leaving a legacy of love and health and healing and wholeness. And I am excited, even though I feel like such a failure in it so often. And on days when I look in the mirror and am wishing I didn't see what I'm seeing, I know that it's worth fighting that fight to correct my view of my body and of all bodies, and in order to break that pattern and to be able to give my daughters just a confidence and a foundation to be able to move forward on. So thank you for being part of building that foundation together with me. We can do this. It is not always easy, but it is a beautiful journey. And I'm really grateful to have you on the journey with me. And I'm already looking forward to seeing you in a couple of days.